Jimi Hendrix was the definition of a freethinker. In the 1960s, Hendrix inspired the counterculture movement with his music and erratic behavior during performances. The behavior that Hendrix displayed on stage was unique and new. His strange stage rituals, such as the guitar burnings, drew attention towards him, and his mastery over the guitar kept people listening. Hendrix inspired members of the counterculture movement with his performances and the meanings behind them. Jimi Hendrix was born in Seattle, Washington on November 27, 1942. His mother was his main caretaker because his father was drafted into the military. Shortly after Hendrix's mother passed away, he started to play guitar. When Hendrix was old enough, he joined the military as a paratrooper in the 101st Airborne Division. Though Hendrix did not serve overseas, his short period of service contributed to his anti-Vietnam War opinions.
Machine gun tearing my body all apart.
Hendrix's musical influences included blues guitarists and singers such as Albert King, Muddy Waters, and B.B. King. Hendrix's music was very different in contrast to the artists that inspired him. His psychedelic rock sound attracted a liberal hippie audience. Such an audience was in attendance at his performance during the 1969 Monterey Rock Festival. Before the show, Jimi Hendrix and Pete Townshend of The Who were seen having an argument about who would be the first to perform. Pete Townshend is documented as one of the first rock musicians to smash his guitar on stage. As a sign of disrespect to Townshend, Jimi Hendrix decided to take his stage ritual to the next level. When later asked in an interview to explain his actions, Hendrix stated that he was surprised his guitar burning was so controversial when people in Vietnam were burning after napalm strikes. Hendrix had managed to turn a stage gimmick into an anti-war statement. His explanation encouraged members of the counterculture movement. Hendrix's performance at Woodstock stands as another one of his significant concerts. During this concert, Hendrix performed an improvised version of the Star-Spangled Banner. Hendrix's version of the Star-Spangled Banner left a very big impact. Many people consider this version of the Star-Spangled Banner offensive because of its large amounts of distortion, the alterations to the melody, and the stylistic choices that Hendrix made. Jimi's version was said to have created acoustic imagery that took the song away from the status quo and symbolically gave it to the counterculture movement. The verse about bombs bursting in air is where Jimi chooses to use long whammy bar bends and chord hits that mimic falling bombs. Hendrix's version of the Star-Spangled Banner was interpreted as a symbol of protest for the hippies at Woodstock. His musical genius had turned the national anthem into an anti-Vietnam War message. As a guitar player, Hendrix influenced many musicians, including the Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Red Hot Chili Peppers covered Jimi Hendrix's song Fire very early on in their career. Flea, the Red Hot Chili Peppers bass player, has a tattoo of Jimi Hendrix's face on his arm. Josh Klinghoffer, the lead guitarist, has cited Jimi Hendrix as a main influence. In the Red Hot Chili Peppers album Stadium Arcadium, psychedelic influences and flashy guitar parts are similar to that of Hendrix in style. Just like Jimi Hendrix, the Red Hot Chili Peppers send a message in their performances. In 2012, Red Hot Chili Peppers performed in Israel's Hayarkin Park in protest of Israeli politics. Despite pressure to cancel the concert, They insisted on performing in Israel. Their performance gave the Israeli people something to think about other than the Second Intifada. Jimi Hendrix's legacy lives on through the musicians he inspired.